What I have seen, what I have learned, fascinates me. I do not want to die. And I do not want to kill you.
I think this is more tragic than the ending of the Big Goodbye.
Yeah, it's like taking the same theme and going a step further. Alex, blue lights. You know what that means. We're back on the Enterprise. Woo!
I'm excited. I wonder if there's going to be a little time jump. I wonder... You know what? No, they're probably just going to jump right into an episode of the week story.
Yep, no mention of a new show, no mention of... And I'm fine with that. You know, I don't necessarily need, like, Picard, well, welcome back from your trip at Deep Space Nine. I don't know. It'd be cool. I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
It'd be neat to get a little nod, but I'm not expecting that. I'm picturing, you know, Deep Space Nine got the little NXT rub, you know, from the vet Picard coming in, you know, to the show, but I don't think there's going to be any mention of Deep Space Nine on this show.
It was like either the first episode of NXT on the WWE Network when they had John Cena just in the crowd for a moment, and they showed him in the crowd, but then like it was revealed later he didn't actually go there and watch the show. They just brought him in and had him sit there in the crowd, and then he left right after. That was Picard. Do you think there will be any mention of presumably Chief just being gone in Keiko, or will it just be left up to...
God, I hope so, because any episode where he's not there, they don't say anything. But I don't know, maybe the show will tell us.
Well, you guys keep speculating. Just turn it on.
The answers are right there.
Yeah, we're about to find out.
It was then I began to suspect that your brother did not die by his own hand, that he was in fact murdered.
Been a while.
Good Lord. But Holmes...
Nice.
Utter nonsense. What about the suicide note? It was written in my dear brother's own hand.
This guy too over the top for you?
No.
He is a holodeck creation.
Yeah, it's also a fictional story.
The alleged suicide note was written by a left-handed individual such as yourself.
Data. It's in his right hand.
Curious.
Oh, he broke the immersion.
LaForge or Barkley?
Barkley here.
Reg, something went wrong with the holodeck program again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Barkley back already?
Does that sound like him?
Yeah. They just got someone else. Voiceover.
Computer. In program and save.
Gotta save. Always save. Been burned too many times not saving.
Ho, Reg.
Woo!
Sherlock Holmes Program 3A has demonstrated some very curious anomalies.
There must have been a glitch in the matrix diodes, but I'll track it down, don't worry.
I thought for a moment they finally had a mystery Data couldn't solve, but nope, just an error, of course.
All Sherlock Holmes files.
All files conform to specified parameters except those contained in protected memory.
Computer, unlock this sequence and run the program.
Who are you? Professor James Moriarty.
What?
Sherlock Holmes's arch enemy. Are you left or right-handed? Left-handed. Would you mind very much telling me? No problem there.
What a fucking callback.
Wait, what if he just erases him because he's unaware?
Is he still captain of this vessel? Howard, how do you know the captain?
Okay, he's going to bring him up to speed.
They made me too well, and I became more than a character in a story. I became self-aware.
Oh no, he became self-aware.
Leave the holodeck? No, of course not. You can only exist in here.
Damn you, Picard. I should have realized he would have said anything to get me to release my hostage. Well, it looks like about 4 years. It seemed longer,
What are you talking about? You can't possibly have been aware of the passage of time.
but I was.
Oh, no.
He's done nothing, just left me to go quietly mad.
He would not have forgotten his promise. The captain would not do that.
Cut to Picard. Who?
Ask him to meet me in the sitting room at Baker Street. That would be far more appropriate.
I'll have to store you in memory again until I get an answer.
I don't know if he's going to let you do that. Oh, okay. He didn't have a choice. I also don't trust that Barkley is going to save him properly. Like your little sibling deleting your game save.
Or somehow he's going to get him out and plug him into the regular Enterprise. Oh, shit.
He tricked him! And you know who his hostage was?
Beverly.
No, there was someone else there that season.
Oh, it was Pulaski.
I love that you erased her in your mind and put in Beverly.
Captain's log, stardate 46424.1.
I have heard this title before. I didn't know what the episode was, though.
Access protected memory and run Moriarty program.
It's good to see you again.
If you'd missed my company, I should think you'd have summoned me before now. I must leave.
That is not possible. You cannot exist outside this room.
Are you certain of that?
Computer, exit.
Yeah, go ahead and try.
If I am nothing more than a computer simulation, then very little will have been lost. But if I am right, mind over matter, cogito ergo sum.
Oh, okay.
I think. Therefore I am.
So you're telling me they had him locked up for 4 years, and he could have just always walked out?
Shit.
I ask only that I be allowed to explore this new world. Your vessel, for instance. What sea does she sail?
Did he not know it was a spaceship?
I don't think so.
'Cause I remember him drawing it. Like, what is this?
Probably thought it was a boat.
Professor, I feel it necessary to point out that criminal behavior is as unacceptable in the 24th century as it was in the 19th.
Yeah.
I understand his frustration. We created him, and we
uniform.
created her to be the woman he loves. Surely we have some responsibility to them.
But until we know just what it was that walked off the holodeck, I don't think we should be trying it again.
Even if we decided to do it, there's no guarantee that we'd be able to.
That's right. There was no alien that caused this thing. They just said to the holodeck, "Hey, make an enemy worthy of data." There's no foul play by anyone, right?
No, just data messed up.
Professor, I wonder why you're in so much of a hurry. Is this woman involved with you in some illegal venture?
Oh, it's still suspicious.
You wouldn't want to lose her because we acted too quickly.
Riker to Captain Picard.
Picard here.
Could you join us on the bridge?
Yeah, we haven't seen War for Riker yet at all.
What are you thinking about this motivation? You think he's being straight up?
It seems genuine.
How long before they begin to coalesce?
Within the next 5 hours, sir.
Mr. Worf, launch 4 Class A probes towards the planet.
Aye, sir.
But I think he's going to get impatient and try to do something himself.
Mr. Worf?
I don't understand. The controls are not
That's
responding.
what he's doing right now.
What if Dave's like, I shut it down. It's a new life.
Just draws the line so quickly now.
Picard command codes are no longer valid.
What's happening? Who's transferred the voice authorization?
I have. I'm afraid I had no choice but to take control of your vessel.
Can it be patient, brother? Come on.
Also, would a phaser even work on him?
I don't know. Let's find out.
If you harm me, sir, I will not be able to relinquish voice control of your vessel.
Surely you wish to live.
Not without the Countess.
We are studying means of bringing her safely off the holodeck. But 5 hours is not enough time.
I'm not so sure. A deadline has a wonderful way of concentrating the mind.
That's a good line.
We have a few things to discuss.
Worf, you might not be able to phase him. You could still, like, punch him in the gut.
If it were possible to lock onto the object, it might rematerialize with the same molecular cohesion as conventional matter.
That's a big leap, Data. I just don't think the transporter is going to accept simulated matter.
Why don't you just try with a book or something? You don't have to start by trying with a human being.
Set the pattern enhancers around whatever object you wish to transport. I will proceed to the transporter room and begin modifications.
Okay, they're going to do an object. All right.
Have you come to see Mr. Holmes or perhaps Professor Moriarty? Neither is in just now.
Is this her?
Must be.
Why is that?
Well, it has to do with, it's nothing you need to worry about, Countess. Countess, forgive me, but you just don't sound like a holodeck character.
That's because she isn't.
James.
Oh, goddamn.
Hey,
let's go.
I'm unwilling to risk the Countess' safety. I want to make sure nothing will happen to her.
We may be closer to freedom than you think, James.
The computer can always just make a new one.
Yeah, but would it have, like, would it be a reset from when he made her the first time? Would it have any of those memories if it died without saving?
I just have to program it again. Just take some time.
Or just save it right before you walk off.
Yep.
How thoughtful. Isn't he thoughtful, James?
Barclay to Commander Data.
Go ahead, Lieutenant. I'm ready here.
Modifications are complete. Stand by.
You know, maybe with Chief gone, Barclay will get a little bit of a bump.
Oh, didn't even think about that.
I am having difficulty establishing a pattern lock. Boost the confinement beam, please.
I feel like you would transport it and then it would just disintegrate and disappear.
Seems to be exactly what happened. Remember from Big Goodbye?
Yeah. Whoa!
Computer, what is being displayed here?
Transport log 759.
It says 721.
However, no information is being presented.
Well, that's impossible.
It is almost as if our attempt to transport the chair never occurred.
It never occurred because it's nothing.
Please input command codes.
Picard, Epsilon 793.
Command codes verified.
Well, that's it. That should do it.
There we go, Jordy.
Wait a minute. It didn't work. The computer
Damn it.
released the command pathways.
But also, Moriarty, can you just switch it right back over?
Yeah.
Geordi.
He caught up with his left hand.
Moriarty was able to leave the holodeck. He never did. None of this is real.
What?
It is a simulation. We are still on the holodeck.
No way! What? No way, dude! Oh my god!
Get the fuck out of here.
Commander LaForge is right-handed, sir. A similar malfunction occurred in the Sherlock Holmes program I was running before Moriarty first appeared.
Is that not Jordy?
Computer, discontinue program.
They can't.
Number one, what is my present location?
Engineering? Is something wrong, sir?
Oh, that's not Riker. Ugh.
Our combat jets must be locked into the simulation. If that had been the real Commander Riker, he would have given my location as Holodeck 3.
Yes, thank you.
Miss LaForge, would you excuse us, please?
What a fucking twist. I got worked. We got worked. I
What a
love
great
it.
reveal, too.
Mr. Data, who is real here?
You and I are real, sir, as is Lieutenant Barclay.
Someone go tell him.
We have been existing in a holodeck simulation created by Professor Moriarty.
I believe that is the case, sir.
Because he's a villain.
You may have inadvertently given Professor Moriarty the means of gaining control over the real Enterprise.
Oh.
Somehow, I have to find a way of giving him what he wants.
Just,
What have you done with Lieutenant Barclay and Commander Data?
I want to leave this holodeck.
I think you know that's impossible.
Your crewmates here in my little ship in a bottle.
Ship in a bottle. Oh my god.
Sir, warp core temperature is rising.
Oh my
Approaching
god.
critical levels.
He's gonna blow your ass up.
I have nothing to lose, Commander.
LaForge, start working on the problem.
Aye, sir.
You know, that's another legendary Riker look. The scowl.
yeah.
You got the grin and then the scowl.
Computer, resume program.
Holodeck within a holodeck.
It's oh god.
Holodeckception.
I can see you are a woman not only of breeding, but of wit and sagacity.
And you, sir, are a man of charm and guile.
He's gonna win by stealing his girl.
But if we uncouple the transporter's Heisenberg compensators and allow them to re-scramble randomly, then we can beam a holodeck object or a person off the grid with all of the cohesion of conventional matter.
He's bullshitting, right?
Yeah.
Now, once I have regained voice command, I will transport you from the holodeck.
Forgive me, Captain, but that does sound more like a threat than a compromise.
By the way, that actress, perfect for the role.
Oh yeah.
Great
Perfect.
casting.
Yep.
Morpheus, sir.
How are you doing?
There are force fields blocking our access to the holodeck. It will take time to disable them.
Keep trying.
But yes, how are you doing though, Worf? Like, how do you feel?
I asked you how you're doing, not what you're doing.
I'm all right.
But
Computer,
Arch. Moriarty to Commander Riker.
Riker here.
Okay, that's how you talk to him. Interesting.
This ship is falling into a gravity well. It'll be destroyed within 25 minutes, holodeck and all.
Then I'm sure you'll be motivated to listen to me. I want to talk to you about uncoupling the Heisenberg compensator.
It's got to be code. Picard knew that she would go straight to him, and he would go to Riker, and Riker's be like, okay.
It was funny, I was thinking, even though Picard has no idea, they might actually figure it out. Like, it might line up to where they actually do figure it out on the outside, and Picard just is unaware.
Maybe, yeah.
We're ready here.
Activating pattern enhancers. Energizing.
Yeah, they're going to be destroyed.
You think so?
Oh, never mind.
Welcome aboard.
But isn't this, like, kind of world-breaking?
Unless they're still in the holodeck.
We don't have time for this. You release those command codes and we'll talk.
I will not release your vessel until I am looking at it through a shuttlecraft window.
But then, how do I know you'd release the vessel?
Everything's been programmed to operate on voice command. You just tell the computer where you want to go.
Excellent.
I suggest you head for Melis 2.
What do you think about Riker just folding and giving him the shuttlecraft?
I mean, what else? What else can you do?
Yeah, I guess. I'd have been like, she can stay back, you can leave on the shuttlecraft, release it, then come back and pick her up. No, you'll capture me when I come back.
Alpha 24159.
James,
Yes, my love.
can we go back to Earth?
Yeah, so he really did it.
Stop program Picard Delta 1 in active memory and discontinue simulation.
I fucking knew it! I fucking knew it!
Oh, the double twist!
Did Moriarty release the voice command?
Let's find out.
So where are
Computer, discontinue holodeck simulation created by Professor Moriarty.
How did you do it, sir?
We managed to program the holodeck inside the holodeck.
You mean he never knew he hadn't left the holodeck?
In fact, the program is continuing to run even now inside that cube.
Oh.
The program is continuous, but only within the computer's circuitry.
As far as Moriarty and the Countess know, they're halfway to Melis 2 by now.
Wow.
All this might just be an elaborate simulation running inside a little device sitting on someone's table.
Simulation theory.
Well, we have
Before
a
the Matrix.
newborn star to study. Mr. Barkley, we'll keep that safe.
Aye, sir.
Deanna changed back into her usual clothes.
Yeah, what the...
Computer end program.
Oh, he was just checking. It's the Inception ending.
Before Inception.
Oh my God. Woo!
All right.
Why was Deanna in her regular clothes? Maybe she's off duty, I guess. I love the, they will give them a lifetime of memories in there until he puts it down and then Riker with the bat. just to be safe.
Holy shit.
All right, well, we have now watched Ship in a Bottle, and it's time to talk about it. But first, we're going to start our conversation with the whiteboards.
So we took a little 5-episode break from TNG and visited our friends over at Deep Space Nine. And I thought maybe TNG would take it light. They have a new show going on, so maybe they're going to take it a little easy on TNG, play it safe. Nope, not at all. Inception with an S instead of a C.
Nice. So basically that's you giving it an S, I assume?
I think so.
Well, I'll say this. I'm not giving it an S. But I really want to give it an S. At this point in the show, it's so tough because I love this so much, and like maybe it'll be one of my favorites of the season. Maybe it'll be one of my favorites of the show. But we've gotten to the point with this show. You know, it's funny with the contrast of Deep Space Nine being so early on in that you can't really make judgments on anything, really, as far as that series. And here, it's the opposite. We've seen so much that it's like, damn, I really love this, but it gets harder and harder to give that S when, you know, I think about everything that's my favorite about this show and you know, already thinking about it in terms of like a ranking the whole show. Like, is this going to even fall in my top 10, 15% of the episodes? Maybe, but it's becoming so difficult, you know, like in season 4 when I was giving out S's to, you know, anything with a pulse, you know, and that side of me makes me feel like, oh, I've given these other episode S's, you know, why wouldn't I give it this one? But we've gotten rid of the letter grids for a reason, and I'm falling into that trap again. I love the episode, though.
I love the episode too. But in fact, I think that'd be a fun idea if we do a tier ranking of every episode we gave an S.
Oh, all the S's?
Yeah,
Of the initial S's? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love this episode. Anytime where I can have a visceral reaction like that to getting worked. And if you don't know what getting worked means, it means when you believe the story they're trying to tell, or they have a successful twist. Like, gotcha, it worked you. I was completely worked in this. And what a great use of bringing back old characters. A season 2 villain, Barkley, and just a great Inception type story before Inception, before The Matrix, before what's real, what's not. And a new use of the holodeck we never even thought of. It's amazing that it took them this long to even think of something like this. I wonder, good old classic staff writer Renee was like, hey guys, what if we brought back these people and did a holodeck within the holodeck type thing? And I love things like that, because the first 20 minutes of this episode, I thought they were going down the whole new life rabbit hole. Like, oh, here we go. We're going to watch more out to, just go about the Enterprise, learning about new life.
Fish out of water, man out of time.
Yeah, exactly. But nope, fucking switch. And that scene with Picard, Data, and Geordi was absolutely, like, goosebumps inducing. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I don't even know where to begin. It is interesting because Renee started writing, I believe, with The Offspring, so in season 3, and then Alex Singer here only directed before this Relics, and this is the second episode, 2 W's so far. So it's not like either of them would have remembered, being a part of making that episode. It does make me think, you have the Rick Bermans, the Michael Pillars, even the Ronald Moore to an extent, even though he wasn't there in season 2 either. Who was it that dug back and at this point in the show was like, what material do we have sitting here waiting for us that we've set up? And I really want to give credit to that because, it seems so normal now, 20 plus years later. But like, what, you think about this time in 90s TV, like what shows are making callbacks like this, or like making sequel episodes to stuff from years ago? I mean, to us, it's so cool because, we watched that episode a little over a year ago,
Yeah.
But the people watching the show in real time, 4 years would have passed. Like that, to make that far of a callback to that episode. And that is why I think they gave such a heavy explanation of exposition when they first bring him up, and he basically explains the whole episode for those people that didn't see it, and that's fine. But I really want to give them credit. They've far exceeded my expectations for an episodic series of how many callbacks and sequel episodes there have been.
Yeah, I'd love to know what TV shows were running at this time from 89 to 94 that could be at this caliber, or are they one of the, probably some sort of detective type shows, cop shows. What shows were happening at this time? I'd like to know and see what the comparison is in terms of quality, whether they're all episodic or continuing narrative. Because I'm trying to think, when did continuing narratives become a thing?
I'm not sure, but can we also talk about it in the same vein? This is all of Star Trek thus far. Can you think of one named character recasting? I can't think of one.
In this show?
Yeah, like so far. I can't think of one. Maybe there has been that missing. Even back to TOS, when they bring back Sarek for the movies, it's him. When they bring back
Harry Mudd.
Harry Mudd. When they bring back Amanda, Spock's mom in Star Trek 4, it's her. I'm trying to think back. And then in TNG, Leah Brahms, this character, Moriarty, they're all the same actors reprising their roles. And, that was only, like, not recasting people because, like, of the internet and stuff. Like the Hulk was recast in 2009, in 2009 and 2012. Like, it's a very recent thing for the majority of people to be against recasting. So, like, for this franchise I can't even think of one, if there has been one.
I don't know if this counts, but Pike, the Cage, and then it's a different actor playing him in the chair.
Sure, the Cage never aired, though.
Cage never aired, but in the same episode, 2 different actors are playing the same character.
Yeah, interesting. That is interesting. Plus, his face is all messed up. Yeah, that is an interesting point.
Yeah.
But I just got to give it its respect. I never would have thought. I mean, stuff like recasting or stuff like purely episodic, never reference back to anything else unless it's like a nod or a quick thing, is something I expected for this. It's 90s TV. So that's just a huge props right off the bat.
And there's plenty of examples. One I can think of recasting, and there's like, fuck it. Didn't they recast the mom in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Yeah, sitcoms are the worst with it. Yeah. I mean, Topanga and Boy Meets World had like 4 different mom and dads throughout the whole show. I mean, it's terrible, and that's why you get so used to it. We were born in the '90s, grew up in the 2000s, but I spent a lot of time watching '80s and '90s TV more on the sitcom level. Growing up, and you just get used to recastings, and now I'm very unforgiving about them a lot of the time. So, like, for me to not have to complain about that with Star Trek thus far is very impressive, I think.
Yeah. And it allows us to have a wonderful reaction, and it makes me think that these people care about the art and the work that they're making. It's not just a paycheck. My question is, so in real life time, did the people working on TNG have those extra weeks to work on this episode, and that's why it was so good, and they had the time to write an Inception level episode? But also the line from Moriarty about what was his line about deadlines make a
deadlines. I know what you're talking about. It was a good line.
Yeah, deadlines make for better work or faster good work or whatever. Now I don't think that applies here if they had those extra 5 weeks, because holy shit, did they let that marinate and really write this out really well, if that's the case.
Yeah, because what's interesting is, okay, so you have Renee is the writer on this, but this person is a staff writer. They're a story editor. They're here all the time. Who knows? Maybe he wrote this story over weeks or worked on it, and then this was the week he was ready to turn it in. This was not a Wall of Writers episode. It was one writing credit. So maybe that's the case. I don't know.
Also, episodes are just people submitting stories. Like, hey, make the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, which I think is crazy. How many episodes have been that, which is nuts. So yeah, I don't know the exact reasoning, but it's, sometimes it's like when you have a good script, you have a good script, but it does make you wonder with so many good twists packed into here. Like, if he did write it in a week, good on him, and why don't you write it every week then?
It's probably a fucking horrible pressure cooker to write every week. These people are probably losing their minds. They probably want people to write stories in or send their stuff in, because that makes it fucking easy.
Yeah.
And they can just like tweak it a little bit, or have the screenwriter come in and put in good dialogue, but have the general blueprint be the same.
Mm-hmm. Sidebar. You know what I've also found fascinating about TV shows, and there's really not that much information about it out there that I have been able to find? Table reads. Like, TV shows do table reads. The cast sits around and reads it. I've always wondered, okay, does every show do this? Is this normal Hollywood practice? Like, it seems like it is, but I've seen small clips here and there of the table reads that are recorded, like of, finales of the shows or different things. But, like, man, would I be interested in this is an episode, I would love to watch this table read. I mean, this has got to be one where these people are reading the script going like, you guys fucking cooked on this. Like, they have to know this is good going into it.
I would love to see the actors' reactions, like, reading it and then realizing. There's a really good one for Game of Thrones season 8 where all the actors are just like,
yeah, that clip. Yeah, we won't spoil it, but I know what happens in that clip. Yeah, or there's a clip of like the last episode of The Office, that table read, and they're all crying, reading it and stuff. But then I think about it, it's like they've done this for every single episode, and it makes me wonder, does the cast, like, imagine the table read for Imaginary Friend? Like, they'd all be like, get me the fuck out of here, They have to know to a certain extent.
Do you think they do it for every episode? Do you think they have the time?
I thought it was again, I don't know for this show, but like in general, from what I've heard, I think it's like part of the thing. Like, it's part of how you make the episode.
Films I get, but for a TV show, for every single episode, I don't know. Especially, maybe for like main cast members, but I have friends that worked on TV shows like Law and Order and shit like that, and it's, you show up, you go to your trailer or whatever, you get to your cult, like, you're not going to be with the main cast members doing a table read.
I get that, yeah.
Yeah, like if you're
they might show up the day of.
I mean, these are day players. They just come in for the one thing. But maybe for big scenes for regular cast members, maybe. But I don't think they have the time to read through every single episode, all 45 minutes. It's usually I think a minute. A minute is about a page. So,
well, here's the thing. Okay, so we can't interview anybody yet because of fear of spoilers. But once we get to that point where we're interviewing these cast members, we got to ask them.
Oh, we're going to interview these cast members.
We're going to eventually.
Shit.
We're going to I'm not like confirming it, but I'm just saying we will. I mean, come on, we will eventually.
Hello, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, well, hopefully, yeah. But we got to ask that, or we got to figure that out because that does fascinate me. But I don't want to distract too much. That was a sidebar, but
We got to talk about this episode.
yeah.
But you can't really delve any deeper than what we had.
Well, let's talk about let's name all the great twists. There was the scene you brought up with Data, Geordi, and Picard, and he throws the object at him, and he catches it with his left hand, and he reveals he's on the holodeck. One funny moment I did think was how Data shows them and they're on the holodeck by taking off his comm badge and throwing it, it hits the wall. What if the wall was further? He just threw it and it just hit the ground? Huh. Anyway, we're in a holodeck.
Yeah, it's the rules are very undefined in terms of how far they can go. Or how big is the room? My theory is if they get close to where the wall is, it's almost like a little treadmill. Like the thing will pull.
So they're always close to the walls.
Yeah, because sometimes it seems, okay, they've been walking for a bit, or how big is this fucking thing? So my theory is that the floor...
Because when they end program, it's always the same room.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're on the whole Enterprise, so you have to be right. Yeah.
Yeah, the door is always right there,
Yeah.
no matter where they are.
Yeah, you got to be correct, like a treadmill type effect. Yeah, which again, then I guess makes sense for the wall.
Yeah.
Then, but
Have you seen those where people wear the VR headsets and they're on like a mini...
like a Ready Player One?
Yeah, they're a little track and they can walk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they make those specific tracks.
Yeah, it's like a circle, so it can go any direction.
It terrifies me, but I'd rather be in like a holodeck scenario where it can just be around me. I don't want to have to put stuff all over my body.
Oh yeah, I'm terrified of doing VR in an actual house because like over a candle.
Yeah.
Like shooting and then hit someone or
Yeah.
break something.
Sidebar, but this one's really quick. I got a new phone recently and went to the Apple store, and there was someone there sitting there at the tables in there sitting there with the VR Apple Pros whatever on, and they're looking around, and I thought to myself, I could just walk up and just smack the shit out of him right now. He would have no idea.
He would have to.
I would go to jail, but it might be funny. But anyway, yeah, so there was that twist. Then the twist of, no, it's the holodeck again after he leaves. And then Picard says, no, he comes in end program, and that's the holodeck. You called that one.
Yeah, because as it was happening, I'm like, there's happy ending for him. They get to live a life together, but there's no way they just won. There have to be in a second holodeck, especially when, I called it as well, when Picard was able to get through to Riker and gave him that... not directly through Riker, but went to the lady. The lady went to Moriarty, and Moriarty went to Riker and gave that command thing. It's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. Wink, wink.
Yeah. And then the very end, when Barclay, this isn't a twist, but Barclay does the Inception ending test to see if they're in the... He didn't have a totem, but I guess the computer acts as the totem, even though when Picard and them were in there, they couldn't end the program. So Barclay's test at the end really doesn't work, in theory.
We could be under someone else's completely different thing right now.
And think about if our universe in real life actually is a simulation, right? Let's just accept that premise for a moment. That means that in this simulation we're living in, we as humans made a TV show where those fake characters then made a holodeck, and that character in the holodeck then made another simulation. It gets pretty crazy when you think about it.
I don't like to think about it.
I think there's a pretty good chance that we're probably in a simulation, but we don't gotta do a full discussion, but I mean, it's a pretty good chance.
Yeah, but I just wonder why they would program me with all these problems and all these emotions, and I guess to make it more realistic.
Well, the beings would probably be so powerful that you're one of millions that they're, what I mean?
No, I'm the main character. I just wonder why they made it.
Oh, yeah.
I can't just be a small part of this thing. I'm the main character.
Yeah. And you would only follow some type of religion or philosophy if you're the main character in that. Yeah, I'm not serving anybody. Yeah, but what else? How about Daniel Davis coming back and just, again, knocking it out of the park?
Yeah, straight out of the park. Great performance. Yeah, no complaints. And he's another... I should have brought this up when I've complained about it in the past, about an actor playing a guy from that time period. Literally playing a fictional character, but playing it like a human being. Stephanie Beacham, who played the Countess. A little bit over the top, but I think it serves the character very well. It serves that they're a fictional character. Not real, but also very charming. And that scene with her and Picard, and she's talking about, oh, you remind me of a man who could get any woman he wants, and they're playing off each other, both very British-esque performances. Not saying Picard's British, but saying that eloquence, that
Yeah.
eloquence of performance.
Yeah, and both ways. I loved when we first meet her. She's kind of like the guy at the beginning, the typical holodeck over-the-top character when she's talking to Barkley. But then the facade falls, and once Barkley finds out she's also self-aware, she becomes less and less over-the-top. Throughout the rest of the episode, to the point where the conversation she has with Picard on the couch, she's a real person, basically.
Mhm.
So I love how that facade is put up front, because right up front, it's a lot. It's like, okay, this character's a lot. So to see that gradual fall of the character she's playing,
Yeah.
in a way, is awesome. Stephanie Beacham, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, great job. Great casting and great performance there, too. And then, I guess it's worth a mention, we do get a small bit of Sherlock Holmes. I mean, obviously, Moriarty is, the famous Sherlock Holmes villain, so we get to see Data as Sherlock Holmes one last time, and Geordi as Watson. Well, I say one last time, but the first time in a while.
A long time.
So that was pretty cool. Not a huge focus of the episode, but it was cool.
Yeah, and kind of a little happy ending. They get to live their fantasy, they get to live their life, and it's in this little, basically a PlayStation, and they get to, believe that they won.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. What's the likelihood of him returning to this again in this show? Probably not likely, but it's interesting to think in my mind if there was a part 3 of them discovering they're in a simulation somehow, and that immersion breaking, and then somehow having to, somehow get out of that. That could be good, but
Wait, you're talking about
Moriarty and
them breaking out of
like them realizing they're actually still in the simulation.
Yeah, like Barkley accidentally unplugs it or something because it's in this little power thing.
Yeah, or they're smart. They just figure it out from within, like Data did. I think he's a smart guy. He might be able to eventually, maybe once he meets so many NPCs that eventually he's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, eventually when he's talking to ChatGPT and the responses are too, obvious. You're absolutely right. I was wrong about that. After the 6th time it said that, an NPC says that, it's like, wait a second.
Yeah. Valor says, what an episode to come back from the DS9 detour with. 100%. Love that Barkley gets to finally be in an episode where it's not about one of his phobias or neuroses.
Oh,
Great
yes,
points,
we didn't even bring
great
that up.
points.
Yeah, I thought about that watching. I'm like, oh, Barkley's not really a problem here. Maybe he get to have some fun, cute scenes with the Countess where he's just trying to set this thing up when most people would be like, not even like talking to her. It's
Yeah.
like, you're just a computer, but Barkley takes the time. Because obviously he's had holodeck relationships before, so.
And he's also still himself of like shy, nervous in front of a girl. Like, he's still there. Yeah, great stuff.
Didn't even think about that, yeah. Jay Strong. This episode would have been the perfect opportunity to finally acknowledge that Pulaski existed again, or Archie made a genuine connection with her in the first episode.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get a name drop when he said the hostage, or maybe when he met Dr. Crusher, one of the two.
Yeah, just a little nod, but
But that's all we got. It's fine. It was still something. But I mean, if you didn't watch that episode, you wouldn't be thrown off by him saying that. But it was something. I was like low key. This probably will not happen. But I was thinking, if there was ever an episode for her to make that cameo, it could have been this one. But I'm not going to say I'm glad she didn't. I wouldn't be against, like, it would have been funny, like, if there was just one cameo from her,
Mhm.
I do like the actress in TOS, so, James H. In a way, the title sort of recalls the beginning and end of Elementary Dear Data, where Geordi was building a model ship, though admittedly not in a bottle. But on top of that, it's a great metaphor for what happens at the end. Yeah, 100%, and I love that they set that up with the ship, and then also Picard's history with ships and bottles. Maybe not in that specific episode, but in the show. And to bring that back around here, to not only use it could have just been like a fun, catchy, not mean anything title. We get those all the time. But for it to actually represent this whole holodeck scenario was great.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. So I brought up that Troy changed outfits in this one. John 1701 says a big costume mix-up occurs in this episode. Picard goes into the holodeck in his captain's jacket uniform and comes out in a regular one. Probably should have been naked or in his space underwear. My theory is, well, since when he first went in there, it turned into the simulation, right? So maybe Moriarty changes that outfit for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, that is one of those funny things with the holodeck. And I also want to point out with the Troy thing, I'm going to guess the excuse would be, oh, she's off duty now, so she's back in her regular clothes. No one else in the scene is in their regular clothes. They're all in their uniform. So you're going to tell me everyone's on duty except Troy? It was... I don't know if they filmed it in a weird order or what happened, but just that one scene, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
it was cool to see her in the real uniform.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This one's from Aramis Calsut. This is one of those episodes that makes me think that the writers never really dealt with what the real implications of technology like the transporters, holodeck, and replicators would be, and how they would radically transform society and civilization. Yeah, I agree, and that was the biggest reason I figured that it might be another simulation towards the end after you said it, because I was like, if they did find out how to do this with the transporter, you could just transport anything out of the holodeck, literally bring back anyone to life. Like, that's pretty crazy. So I'm glad that wasn't the case and they were in the holodeck.
Yeah, the holodeck would be done at that point. Because anything involving new life is like, whoa, wait a second. Yeah, so I'm glad they nipped that in the bud. Hashtag Maxwell did nothing wrong. Alex, this is Josh. You're still on the holodeck. We can't end the program. This is the only way we can think to get through to you. Target audience isn't real. We love you, man. Please wake up.
Except, how sad that you get to be in a holodeck and you just create this middling YouTube channel. Just filming in my basement. Like, could have given, a nice set, a big following maybe.
I could have been an A-list actor. I could have been a successful wrestler.
This is what you created. There was that funny meme going around for a while. It still goes around from time to time where it's like, just be a meme that'll just say like, this is a dream, wake up, we're trying to reach you, whatever, like on Facebook and stuff. Similar to this one here. David Clamage. Does anyone else randomly say computer and program out loud just in case?
I'm going to start saying that now. I'm going to start saying that now.